Bonjour, hi, Canada. I found you. It's Hugh Hewitt inside the Beltway in the ReliefFactor.com studio. A good Thursday morning to you. Well, we're over the hump. The Democratic National Convention is now on the downslope. I knew President Obama was going to blister President Trump. That happened. You knew Kamala Harris was going to give a good speech. That happened. But the main event, really the only event of this week, is tonight when Joe Biden talks and we get a look at him. But let's do the obligatory couple of grabs here. President Obama first. Cut number 18. Going a little bit far here, talking about Trump and his, quote, enablers. Cut 18.
They believe that in a democracy, the right to vote is sacred, and we should be making it easier for people to cast their ballots, not harder. They believe that no one, including the president, is above the law, and that no public official, including the president, should use their office to enrich themselves or their supporters. They understand that in this democracy, the commander-in-chief does not use the men and women of our military who are willing to risk everything to protect our nation as political props to deploy against peaceful protesters on our own soil. They understand that political opponents aren't un-American just because they disagree with you.
All right, stop right there. You see, I think that President Obama may have misjudged the moment here vis-a-vis the protesters. He went all in on the protesters last night. And I thought to myself, I just don't think he's in touch anymore. The Martha's Vineyard house, the Kalorama house, the Hawaii house, the Chicago house, the billions of dollars in book deals, millions actually. The big speeches, I don't think he really understands what it's like to live in Chicago anymore. The community organizer is organizing lots of book parties, but in fact, let's play cut number 27. This might shock you a little bit. Again, the president is talking, President Obama is talking from the Museum of the American Revolution, apparently supposed to charge his speech with a little revolutionary glory. I don't think so. Cut 27.
Americans of all races joining together to declare, in the face of injustice and brutality at the hands of the state, that Black lives matter. No more, but no less. So that no child in this country feels the continuing sting of racism. To the young people who led...
Stop for a second. This is not... See, it doesn't work for President Obama without a crowd. He gave his... and it was just kind of sad. Not having a live audience. I hope the Republicans are studying up. Don't do this. Have a panel discussion. Back to President Obama. Can you pick that up where he gives his little shrug?
Americans of all races joining together to declare, in the face of injustice and brutality at the hands of the state, that Black lives matter. No more, but no less. So that no child in this country feels the continuing sting of racism. To the young people who led us this summer, telling us we need to be better, in so many ways, you are this country's dreams fulfilled.
All right, stop. You see, at that point, I think it's a complete swing and a miss. Because he's talking to Antifa here, to the young people who led this country this summer. And honestly, look, nobody's watching this thing. They're down in the 20 millions, and so it's 125 million people vote. But I see all the headlines about him blistering President Trump, and I say to myself, they didn't see the same speech. Now, Kamala Harris did a little bit better. Here she is, cut number 25, talking about no vaccine for racism.
The loss of normalcy, and yes, the loss of certainty. And while this virus touches us all, we got to be honest. It is not an equal opportunity offender. Black, Latino, and Indigenous people are suffering and dying disproportionately. And this is not a coincidence. It is the effect of structural racism.
All right, stop. This is where she got off the rails again. conventions typically celebrate America. They don't blame America. And structural racism is an appeal to a small slice of the Democratic base, and the rest of America hears, "You're calling me a racist?" And that's what she was doing. Now, she wound up with, the first of many blistering attacks on President Trump, probably the best part of her speech, cut number 36.
And at every step of the way, I've been guided by the words I spoke from the first time I stood in a courtroom. Kamala Harris, for the people. I have fought for children and survivors of sexual assault. I fought against transnational criminal organizations. I took on the biggest banks and helped take down one of the biggest for-profit colleges. I know a predator when I see one. My mother taught me that service to others gives life purpose and meaning. And oh, how I wish she were here tonight, but I know she's looking down on me from above. I keep thinking about that 25-year-old Indian woman, all of 5 feet tall, who gave birth to me at Kaiser Hospital in Oakland, California. On that day, she probably could have never imagined that I would be standing before you now and speaking these words. I accept your nomination for Vice President of the United States of America.
You see, that is cool. That's Kamala at her best. Now, she mentioned in passing the takedown of Corinthian. That's a for-profit college. I think maybe that's going to haunt her. People should go look at that story. I know the other side of that story. And I think she destroyed a fine organization that was credentialing people in a vendetta. But the rhetoric there was grade A. It really was. It was grade A. Let's recognize this. But there were critics. Chris Wallace obliged himself to watch everything. Cut number 26.
I got to agree with Carl that tonight reminded me nothing so much as Kamala Harris's whole campaign for president. Started out with this huge rally in Oakland, 20,000 people cheering, and she flamed out and was out of the race by the end of 2019 before the first votes in Iowa. I thought there was a lot of Democratic boilerplate, both in the attack on Donald Trump and the praise of Joe Biden.
Yeah, there was a lot of boilerplate, but that one moment redeemed it. Look, it's not a strong convention, but the Republicans are going to be handicapped by the same thing. It's very hard to do this into a box. She did have an unforced error earlier in the day. Cut number 10, talking to the Asian American Pacific Islander Caucus.
Well, my final points are this. I do believe, and we all know, the Chinese character for conflict and chaos on the other side is it means opportunity, right? And I do believe that there are opportunities in this moment of crisis.
Never let a crisis go to waste. She said the quiet stuff out loud yesterday. Vice President Pence was in Wisconsin and leveled this attack. Cut 11.
I mean, the truth is Joe Biden and the radical left are deeply out of step with the people of Wisconsin on every issue that matters.
Stop. Did you hear that? Joe Biden and the radical left. Joe Biden and the radical left. It has the additional advantage of being true, to borrow from Dr. Kissinger. But that's what's going to happen. It's the radical left have taken over the Democratic Party. And when we come back, we'll hear Bill Barr talking about it. But they were praising Antifa last night. They were praising all of the protests of the summer, both good and bad. They were accusing you of structural racism, and I just think it didn't play the way they think it played. I think the radical left part of this is dominating the Democratic Party, and I don't think America wants to walk down that road. It'll be a close shave, like Harry's. Don't forget to get up and use your Harry's razor this morning. And if you haven't got Harry's yet, go to harrys.com, use my name, Hugh, and get started on having the best shave of your life. More coming up, America, on this morning's Thursday edition of the Hugh Hewitt Show.